Okay, we are live, and so I'm going to share my screen now with everybody. All right, go away. Okay. All righty, Ariana, you may begin.
All right, I will call this meeting to order at 5:02 p.m. Secretary Reed, can you please call the roll?
Yes. Nathan Scott.
Here.
Ariana Reed.
Here.
Jashira Bolden. Connor Peters.
Here.
Sean Peters.
Here.
Connor Busick. Luke Armstrong. Eli Trimmer. Maria Mills. Nick Schultz.
Here.
Jet Trimmer. Trevor Mule.
Here.
Kate McCoy.
Here.
Seth Nidell.
Here.
Charles Anderson.
Here.
Clark Thomas.
Here.
Brett Shanks.
Here.
Jonathan Dishman. Mickey Pulliam.
Here.
Josiah Schmedding.
Here.
Okay. Hannah Berry.
Here.
We do meet quorum.
Okay, thank you. First, we'll have the adoption of the minutes, and without objection, those will get adopted. And then we have the adoption of the agenda, and without objection, it will get adopted. All right, we'll move on to committee reports. Senator Trimmer is absent, so we'll move to Mickey Pulliam with ADA Committee.
I have nothing to report this week.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to Brett Shanks, Health and Safety Committee.
So I have a little bit to report. I was contacted a few days ago by Andrea about the COVID vaccine link for Missouri. I think next few weeks I'm going to be working with some people in the SGA here just to try and get the word out more about it for students to sign up, and so they know when they can get the vaccine. Other than that, we did get a date for our meetings, which will be Wednesdays around 1 to 1:30. And that's it.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Senator Shanks? All right, so we do have a guest speaker today, Miss Angela Voga, here to talk about some COVID things in regards to vaccinations and things like that. So I will go ahead and hand over the floor to her.
Okay, hey, Ariana, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. I would just like to thank you guys for allowing me to be here and kind of participate in all that you guys have going on with student government at Missouri Western. So I would just like to highlight some of the things that the state of Missouri is doing right now to help keep students safe, as well as all of our Missouri citizens. Just a few weeks ago, the state of Missouri launched what they're calling the COVID Navigator website. And that is basically a place where any Missouri citizen can go onto this website and sign up, and then they can be notified when they are eligible to receive a COVID vaccination. So, it's a nice way for the state to be able to, track and prepare for the amount of individuals that want to receive the immunization. It also kind of, supply and demand and all of those type of things. Oh, thank you for pulling that flyer up. You guys should all be seeing this Missouri COVID-19 Navigator poster It's got the QR code that you can just go directly to that Missouri site, and you'll see steps 1 through 4. And if you guys aren't familiar at this point with the way the state is handling immunizations, right now they're really starting with the elderly population as well as individuals who maybe have some pre-existing health conditions. So the second flyer that I sent you, Ariana, if you could open that one up as well. So you can see here some of the list of things that we would call a like a pre-existing health condition, maybe an individual who has a history of cancer or chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, which is the COPD there, or diabetes, severe obesity, maybe some kidney problems. Anyway, individuals who are elderly or maybe they have one of these health conditions can actually start to get the immunizations right now. But if everyone else who, is generally a healthy individual, we're going to be later, to be able to receive those things because we want to be able to care for our citizens who are at higher risk. But anyway, you can go on, put your information in, and then they basically text you, email you whenever the vaccine is available for your specific group. So, generally most of us are going to be healthy and free of any major disease processes, hopefully. So we may be a little bit later down. They're calling those tiers. And so they just kind of open up as all the elderly and immunocompromised get vaccinated, then they open up to everyone else. So what I would like to ask you all to do is to start thinking about ways we can get this information out to students. And I don't know if now would be an appropriate time, but I would like for individuals to be thinking about some creative ways from your all standpoint to be able to reach students about this information, and just to kind of with that message of let's all try to do our part, and that together we can succeed to get this done. It's going to be a process. It's not anything that's going to just happen overnight. It's something we're going to have to work through. But would now be an okay time to talk about ideas that people may have?
Yes, so we can go ahead and open the floor if there's any questions, or even if you don't have a question, if you do have one of those ideas, we can bring that to the floor.
Also, if you want to give them some more time to think about it, we could revisit it during open discussion during the end.
Yes.
I think there's a number of ways that we can promote this, kind of mirroring, the various forms of promotion that SGA has exercised this school year. So that's something that I'd love to work with you, Angela, and of course, Brett, with the Health and Safety Committee, and coordinate some sort of marketing campaign for that.
Okay.
That sounds great. Thank you.
Did anyone else have anything to add to that? Okay, if not, we'll just revisit it once we have open discussion a little later in our meeting. But I do want to thank you, Angela, for coming and talking to us about that, because a lot of us may not have constant updates about COVID and the things that the state is doing. So thank you for bringing this to our attention. And we hope that we can get that information to the students so that they understand that as well.
That would be great. And if you would just please email those 2 flyers out, and any ways that you guys can think to get that information out would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, of course, no problem. You all will receive the email with those flyers promptly after this meeting, and then just spread that around. Word of mouth works well, social media, all that good stuff.
Thank you, everyone, for doing your part.
No problem, and thank you for having this to share with us.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll continue on with our reports. So we'll have Hannah Berry, student governor.
I don't have really anything to report this week other than that on Thursday, we are having a finance meeting. The board's holding a finance meeting at noon. And then we will have our board meeting following that at 1 o'clock. It's always available over Zoom if you would like to join. Also, I believe it's on YouTube.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions for student governor Berry? All right, we'll move on to Josiah Schmedding, Chief Justice.
Hey everyone. I don't have a large amount to report. We're getting kind of set up for the election cycle, so that's coming up really quick. I'm sure you guys have noticed I've submitted 3 different pieces of legislation. One of those is the election commission appointment, which is pretty important. That's going to be coming up pretty quick. But I think the more time-sensitive ones are the calendar decisions. So I'm not going to speak too much to those. I think they're both pretty good options. I lean towards the second one, but that's obviously, I gave you guys 2 choices so y'all could decide. If you do decide to go with the first option though, I would strongly recommend you guys do your rule waiving magic to get that passed today, because it sets the rules meeting for next Monday. And so just if we're going to pass that one, which it's fine if we do, or it's fine if we don't, the earlier we have that information that it's set that day, the sooner I can start spreading that to any potential candidates. And we do want everybody that wants to try to run to get the opportunity. So that's all I really have though. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions for Chief Justice Schmedding? All right, we'll move on to Sean Peters, Director of Finance.
Okay, so the only thing I have to report this week is I'm continuing to work on phase 2 changes for FOC, and that is all I have to report.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Director Peters? All right, we'll move on to Connor Peters, Director of Public Relations and Marketing.
Hi, everyone. Hope you're doing well and soaking in the very nice weather that we have right now. Certainly an upgrade over last week. So I've got a few things to report. So over the last several weeks, I know we didn't meet last week, so I'll try and cover the last couple of weeks here. But over the last several of weeks, my committee and I have been doing some kind of rudimentary research on possible giveaway ideas to the student body. And initially last week, when the weather was terrible, we were strongly considering beanies and gloves. Of course, the weather being nicer now, we're leaning away from those items and currently thinking about a partnership with Aramark for a COVID-safe spring-themed food giveaway in Blum. Of course, it's in the beginning stages. We're just generating ideas, but we're leaning towards that right now. We're also thinking about maybe sunglasses or something else fun, just kind of to boost morale and get students into the spring spirit. I've been working with Jessica Froge and Dr. Crystal Harris on our mask order, and we're narrowing down some COVID-safe masks, really effective ones. But we also want those masks to be practical and comfortable, etc. So we're still working on that. We should have a mask finalized here pretty soon. My committee and I just met prior to the Senate meeting, and we believe we have a design decided for that. So once we get the masks rolling forward, I'll share all that with you guys. I issued a press release related to the election bylaw revisions, and I'll have another press release soon, pending the passing of today's legislation, if it is read and passed today. I made a filler post today related to the weather to engage with students on social media. I also posted a summary of Heart Your Union on social media last week. And that's really all I have to report. And I want to thank my committee for their hard work and their great advice that they've been giving me on some of these giveaways. And of course, taking the time out of their day to to attend our meetings. So that's all I've got.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Director Peters? All right. Director Armstrong has informed me that he does not have much to report. When that changes, I will let you all know. Then we'll have Connor Busick, Assistant Director of External Relations.
Hey guys, I don't have anything to report this week, but I should have something to give to you next week.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions for Director Busick? All right, Director Bolden has informed me that there's not much to report either. We're just working on getting those gifts for the Heart Your Union winners for the raffles, getting those gifts out to them. So next is my report. I don't have much. It's really just I've been doing some checking in with the directors, making sure anything is on the up and up, anything I can do to help, making sure to help in those areas. But other than that, not much to report as of now. So we'll move on to the president's report.
Good afternoon, everyone. I don't have a ton to report on this week. We're focusing on trying to get a few of our pieces of legislation through in terms of the drafting cycle with the FOC reforms and other things going on. But besides that, not a ton to report on. I will say I want to give a huge thank you and congratulations for a successful event to our Director of Student Involvement, Jashira Bolden, for an amazing Heart Your Union. And that's basically all I got to report for this week. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions for President Scott? Okay, then we'll move on to new business, Senate Bill Fiscal Year 21-22, Election Commission appointments. Okay, an MWSU Senate bill to confirm the appointment of Hannah Berry as a member of the Election Commission for spring 2021 elections. Whereas the Student Government Association must hold elections for its representatives during spring semester in 2021. And whereas the Election Commission requires a third member to operate as intended. And whereas Election Commission members require Senate approval. Therefore, we, the Student Government Association of Missouri Western State University, hereby enact to confirm the appointment of Hannah Berry as a member of the Election Commission. Therefore, let it be finally enacted that a copy of this bill be sent to Nathan Scott, SGA President, and Hannah Piowski, Dean of Students, for signature. We will have an authorship speech by Chief Justice Schmetting.
Hey everyone. This one is a little bit self-explanatory for what I'm aiming for here. We need a third election commission member. That's per the new amendments we've added to the bylaws. And Hannah Berry is uniquely qualified for this position, having previously run elections before. As much as I think myself pretty capable, and certainly I think Dr. Piowski is capable, neither of us has the experience. And so, next year she'll have the experience from doing it this year, but right now it's really good to have somebody who's done this before, kind of help guide our hand and help us through the process.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions for Chief Justice Schmetting? All right, we'll have a sponsorship speech from Senator McCoy.
Yeah, so I think that Josiah hit the nail on the head. It's a good recommendation. I'm all for it.
All right, thank you. Are there any speeches of affirmation or negation? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to the next bill, which is Senate Bill Fiscal Year 21-23, Calendar Legislation Alternative 1. Okay. An MWSU Senate bill to approve an election calendar for the For the spring 2021 elections, whereas the Student Government Association must elect its representatives, and whereas elections must be held during the spring semester. Therefore, we, the Student Government Association of Missouri Western State University, hereby enact to approve the following election calendar for spring semester 2021. Therefore, let it be finally enacted that a copy of this bill be sent to Nathan Scott, SGA President, and Hannah Piowski, Dean of Students, for signature. And if we scroll to the bottom, we'll have the proposed dates. So for this specific calendar proposal, it would start on March 1st, which is next Monday for the rules meeting. And then it just goes through primary campaign starts the 3rd, and we'll go through the whole process and end on April 2nd. We have an authorship speech from Chief Justice Schmedding.
Like I said, I mentioned this a little earlier during my report, but this is just one of two options. They're both good. I lean towards the second one, but I think either one of them can be a really smooth process. This is the one that starts next Monday, though. So if this is the one the Senate wants to go with, it really needs to be approved today.
All right, thank you. Sponsorship speech from Senator McCoy.
So personally, I kind of like this one a bit more just because it's faster. If there's any problem with it, please say. But like honestly, I like this one better than the other one just for that reason. But yeah.
Okay, thank you. Are there any speeches of affirmation for this bill?
I just wanted to say I agree with Parliamentarian McCoy about this one being, I think, a bit better option.
All right, thank you. Are there any other speeches of affirmation? Are there any speeches of negation?
I would give a speech of negation because student body or student government elections are supposed to be open to the entire student body, and that essentially gives them just a week to prepare for it. And while everybody in SGA is well aware of possible timelines and what they could look like, I think in order for it to be a real student body election, you need to give everybody in the student body the same opportunity to run and participate if they'd wish to. And as we know, signatures and other things are required as a part of the process to get ready to run next week. That's just my opinion, having done it before and wanting to be, serving the student body.
Thank you. Are there any other speeches of negation? Okay, are there any questions for anyone that has spoken? All right, we'll move on to Senate Bill Fiscal Year 21-24, Calendar Legislation Alternative 2. An MWSU bill, Senate bill to approve the election calendar for the spring 2020-2021 elections. 2021 elections, whereas the Student Government Association must elect its representatives, and whereas elections must be held during the spring semester. Therefore, we, the Student Government Association of Missouri Western State University, hereby enact to approve the following elections calendar for spring semester 2021. Therefore, let it be finally enacted that a copy of this bill be sent to Nathan Scott, SGA President, and Hannah Piowski, Dean of Students, for signature. All right, if we scroll for this one, this calendar proposal will start on March 8th. So 2 Mondays from now. And then we'll go through the entire process and we'll have anticipated results April 9th. We'll have an authorship speech from Chief Justice Schmedding.
All right, so this one, I'm less concerned about getting it out to the whole student body because we can blast the rules meeting really hard over the next week, and there's a little bit of leeway time. I think there's like a 3-day grace period where people can watch the rules meeting and come back and catch up with the election commission so that they know they're good. My concern with this is actually just the placement of spring break is a little bit cleaner here, but like I said, both calendars are fine. Just take your pick.
All right, thank you. We'll have a sponsorship speech from Senator McCoy.
So, I mean, my opinion's already known from the last one. Regardless, we're just gonna motion to consider these individually. So whichever one you guys feel is better, vote when in there. But yeah.
All right, thank you. Do we have any speeches of affirmation? Okay, do we have any speeches of negation?
I mean, I kind of already spoke on it, but I think that elections aren't just for student government, they're for the whole student population. And I would reiterate that that's kind of the purpose of student government, is to make it available to all students. And I don't think we're doing that if we use the other calendar. I think this one is much better to allow students to have the opportunity to consider running for a senator or another position, and then collect signatures and be prepared for the election cycle.
All right. Are there any questions for anyone who has spoken? Okay, I don't see any questions.
I motion to unanimously consent to consider these bills individually.
All right, do I have a second on that motion?
Second.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll do a vote to unanimously consent to consider the question on these two specifically, right? For Senate Bill 21-23 and 24.
It'll be for all three, and then just whichever one would pass first on that, or whichever one would fail, just fails.
Okay. So is there, will we do a roll call if that's the case, or if anyone has any objections to that?
It would be a roll call vote.
Gotcha. Secretary Reed, could you please do a roll call vote?
Yes, and to be clear, this is for all three?
This is
No,
to consider
no. Yeah, this is for the first one. There will be another one for the second and a third one for the third.
Okay, awesome. So for the first one, starting with Tate McCoy.
Aye.
Brett Shanks.
Aye.
Charles Anderson.
Aye.
Clark Thomas.
Aye.
Connor Busick. Not Connor Busick. I'm sorry, Mickey Pulliam.
Aye.
Nick
Sorry,
Schultz.
Nate.
Oh,
Wait, I'm sorry.
no, you're okay. So Mickey.
I lost connection. What were we voting on?
So currently, oh,
No, you can go ahead. Sorry.
go ahead.
Okay, so we're voting to consider the question on this bills, and then we'll have separate votes for each bill individually.
Oh, yeah,
So-
that's fine. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So currently, this is the vote to approve Hannah Berry, and then the ones after will be either of the proposed
first.
calendars.
Yes.
I lost connection really bad. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. Is everything okay with your connection now?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. So to be clear, this roll call vote is for Senate Bill Fiscal Year 21-22 Election Commission appointment. Okay. So should I just start over? Go back from, I'm just gonna go where we started off from.
Yes.
So Nick Schultz.
Yes.
Okay.
I was ready.
Okay. Seth Nidell
Yeah.
and Trevor Mule.
Aye.
Okay.
All right. Looks like the ayes have it. So that does indeed pass, which is great because that can help get elections rolling. All right, so now it is moving on to the calendar legislations. Again, Senate Bill 21-23 is for the calendar that starts on March 1st. And then 21-24 is for the calendar that starts on March 8th, which are both Mondays. Okay, so Secretary Reed, can you call a roll call vote for fiscal year 21-23?
Yes. in relation to fiscal year 21-23 calendar legislation 1 alternative, Brett Shanks,
Aye.
Charles Anderson,
This is for the 21-23.
Yes, the one that starts on March 1st.
No.
that was nay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Clark Thomas,
Aye.
Mickey Pulliam,
Nay.
okay, Nick Schultz,
Aye.
Seth Nidell,
Aye.
Tate McCoy,
Aye.
and Trevor Mule.
Aye.
Okay. Did I miss anybody? I want to make sure. Did everyone hear their name called? Okay. Well, ayes have it.
All right, the ayes have it. So the 21-23 calendar legislation does pass. All right, and as a formality, we will go ahead and do a roll call vote for 21-24.
Alrighty. So for 21-24, starting with Brett Shanks.
Nay.
All right. Charles Anderson.
Aye.
All right. Clark Thomas.
Nay.
Whoa. Sorry. Okay. Mickey Pulliam.
Aye.
Nick Schultz.
Nay.
Seth Nidell.
Nay.
Tate McCoy.
Nay.
And Trevor Mule.
Nay.
Alrighty. The nays have that.
All right, so that bill does fail, which makes sense. So that means we'll be going with the calendar legislation to start the entire election process next Monday, March 1st. All right, so now is open discussion. This is the chance to come back with ideas as far as the COVID vaccine webinar that was spoken about earlier by Angela Voga, or any other point of open discussion is fine. Okay. Does anyone have anything they would like to share for open discussion?
I think I'd just like to repeat that I think it'd be great if I could collaborate with Senator Shanks and the Health and Safety Committee in creating some solutions to market this vaccine information.
Of course, good sir.
Yeah. Anything else anyone would like to add to that?
I think that we should, if possible, partner with student organizations, because if they're meeting, regularly or semi-regularly, at least more than we student government are able to meet with every student. So be a good idea to send it to maybe through PLC meeting next month or something like that to try and get the information out to RSOs.
Yes, I do believe Angela mentioned something to me earlier about wanting to speak at the PLC meeting. The next PLC meeting is next week, next Wednesday, I believe. Yes. So I think we'll be able to get that information pushed out there towards the student leaders, and hopefully they can spread that to their organizations.
I agree.
Anything else on this topic or another topic for open discussion? All right. Oh, yes.
Eli and I had one and I was talking to Eli with it, but he was not here today, but I was talking to him about establishing another program with our international students. like a first buddy type of program, even though like they have Griffin Edge and stuff, but just for more of our people to come in and not feel so scared of going to a whole different country and just having their like a first friend is what the program would be called. And they could pretty much just ask them anything or have them tour them around campus or even ask them about St. Joe questions and stuff like that.
Okay, that seems good. I would maybe reach out to the CME also and see if they had any thoughts on that or if they have something similar that they were thinking of.
I can do that. And I'm going to the Global Center tomorrow with Eli tomorrow to talk.
Okay. Cool, that sounds great. I think that would be a great idea to make those students feel a bit more welcome. I know it's kind of weird to like welcome students during COVID anyway, so especially if this is a new experience, a new country for them, I think that's a good idea. Is there anything else on that topic or any other topic for open discussion?
I think that's a great idea.
Okay, we'll move on to announcements. I don't have anything to announce other than you all should receive an email with those flyers that we showed with the COVID information. If you could put that on social media, send that out, use that information while we can, and then we'll make sure to get the same information to other student leaders to kind of spread through social media, word of mouth, things of that nature. Are there any other announcements?
I would just say to watch your emails for election information either tonight or tomorrow. Chief Justice Schmedding and I have been talking. We definitely want to get the information out. Send it to your friends and people who are not in student government because they might want to join too. Who knows?
Yes. All right. Any questions on that or anything?
I just wanted to add, thank you guys for getting this all done. This makes the process much smoother.
Yes, I am also glad that we're able to get this done so that way as much accurate information as possible can get out to the students in a timely manner. So thank you all for that. Any other announcements? All right, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
The motion.
Second.
All right, well, this meeting is adjourned at 5:40 p.m. Thank you guys for your work on this, and I will see you all next Monday.